This video is to explain how to operate the televisions in our house. We no longer use cable TV, and we're now streaming the content, all the content, through various applications using Wi-Fi. We use YouTube TV to watch live television, but we also have subscriptions to Prime Video, Netflix, and HBO Now. And these applications are accessed through Roku on all of the televisions, with the exception of the Sony television in the living room. And for that television, the applications are built right into the television, so a Roku device isn't necessary. So let's start with the living room TV. This is the remote control for the Sony television, which is in the living room upstairs. For the most part, it's self-explanatory. You'll use the power button, the green button up here, to turn the television on and off. You have the volume control button to control the volume. And then in the center here, you have the navigation buttons, left and right, up and down, arrows to navigate around the screen, and then the center button, which you press to enter in various modes. And then importantly, along the bottom here is the Discover button. And when you press this button, it's going to give you access to the various applications that are built into the television. These are the applications that you use to actually watch television. And finally, you have the back button, which you'll use also to navigate around in YouTube TV. To turn the television on, you press the green power button on the Sony remote control, and you just wait for a moment. And then what'll come up on the screen here, you'll see a list of the apps across the top, and you're looking for the YouTube TV app. And if you just scroll over to the right, make sure you don't get the YouTube, because that's just YouTube. You need to go over to the one that sort of looks like YouTube, but it's actually YouTube TV. Select that. And after a moment, the YouTube TV interface will appear. This is the screen for the YouTube TV app. You'll notice across the top there's 3 boxes for Library, Home, and Live. Normally when the app opens, it opens in Home. And on the Home tab, these are suggestions for you based upon your previous viewing habits. And the way you navigate around is with the left and right, and up and down arrows, and the back button. To go back, to get out of where you are, you would just hit the back button. For example, I just hit the back button. That wants to know if you want to exit, and I don't. If you want to watch live TV, you go over to the Live button, and that brings up the grid for the various channels that are available. You see at the top there's Fox News, and then CNN, CNBC, and so on. You can scroll through those. As you scroll through each one, you'll see that there's a preview of what's going to appear. So, for example, there's FS1, and if you want to watch that after you've scrolled down to it, then you just hit the Enter button, and now you've selected the channel. And in order to get out of that, then you would hit the back button, and that'll take you back to the grid. And if you hit the back button again, that takes you back to where you can select Library, Home, and so on. Then the library, if you go over to the library, that's basically your DVR. These are the shows that you've recorded. And if you want to record a show, the way you do it is you just select the show that you want. You find it in the grid, and select it. And then on the bottom right-hand corner, it says More Info or Back. You select More Info. And you see up in the left-hand corner, there's a plus that says Add to Library. You just go up and select that, and now it'll record. It not only records that show, but it records every show in that series. Now, if you want to watch other than live television, you can go to the various subscription services, and again, you want to hit the Discover button. Make sure that you're scrolled down on the left-hand side to the My Apps position, and you'll see there's Prime Video, Netflix, PBS, YouTube, Smithsonian, and also HBO. But make sure that you use the HBO Go, or I'm sorry, the HBO Now app rather than the HBO Go app, because HBO Go won't work. Okay, so now let's go to the other televisions in the house, and all of the other televisions are controlled by Roku, and this is the Roku remote. It's very simple. The buttons you'll be using are those on the top here. You have the on-off button up on the top. The button that has the little house on it is the home button. The arrow is the back button. And then you have your navigation keys, and the center button is the enter button or OK button. And over here on the side are volume control buttons. These buttons down at the bottom, for the most part, you won't have to use. Now, the on-off button and the volume button will work differently on different TVs. There isn't complete compatibility, but I'll talk about that as we go through each television. And I should mention that because all of our content is streamed, whenever we're streaming, we're using data. And under our internet plan with Cox, we have 1 gigabyte per month of data included. And if you use more than 1 gigabyte, then we incur additional charges. And the 1 gigabyte of data is normally sufficient for normal television viewing. But you should be aware of the fact that simply turning the television off does not stop the streaming of data. You have to, before you turn the television off, you have to hit the home button, and the home button will stop the streaming. Because if you don't do that, if you simply turn the TV off, even though it's off, you're going to be streaming data in the background, and if you do that, if you stream data 24 hours a day, we'll be exceeding that 1 gigabyte limitation rather quickly. The kitchen television is operated by the Roku interface, but the sound is played through the bookshelf speakers through the audio-video receiver. Then you want to make sure that the audio-video receiver is turned on. There's a power button here. When it's turned on, you'll see the display illuminate up here. And then using the smaller of the two knobs here, you can move through the various inputs. You just want to make sure that it's turned to TV. This is the volume, which you can use to control the volume. Then to turn the television on, you just push the power button on the Roku remote. It'll take just a moment for it to warm up. And then this display comes up, and then you push the home button on the Roku remote. And here you have all of the various applications that are installed. And again, to watch live TV, you'll go over and select YouTube TV. And in a moment, this will take you to the YouTube TV interface. And there again, you have the familiar library, home, and live buttons across the top. To watch live TV, you would just go over to live, and there's your channel displays. If you wanted, for example, CNBC, you scroll down to Power Lunch. And then again, whenever you want to go back, you use the back button. That'll take you back to the prior screen. You can control the volume with the volume controls on the side of the Roku.
me tremendously. The flexible class schedules allow me to go to work full-time.
And then when you want to turn the television off, again, it's very important that the first thing you do is return to the home screen on the Roku interface, because this will stop the streaming. You have to do this to stop the streaming before you hit the power button, and then with the power button, everything goes off. Television in the south bedroom is controlled by the Roku remote. So you push the power button on the Roku remote and make sure that the little white light in the lower left-hand corner is illuminated, which indicates there's power. And it'll take a few seconds again to warm up. The screen goes black. And when you get here, you hit the home button, and then you have the Roku interface to watch live TV. You again scroll over to YouTube TV, select that. And then there's the library, home, live buttons. If you want to watch live television, you'd go over there and get your channel guide. So we'll pick that station. And then again, you just use the Roku remote as normal with the back button and your selection keys to choose what you want. When you're done watching, again, make sure you hit the home button to stop streaming, and then the on-off button to disconnect from power. There are 3 remotes that may have to be used to control the television in the downstairs hallway. First, there's the Vizio remote, which controls the television, the Sony remote that controls the audio-video receiver through which the sound is played, and then the Roku remote, which is used to control the content. Turning on the television in the downstairs hallway is a little bit more complicated in that it may require 3 controllers. The first thing you want to do is use the Vizio recorder and turn the television on just by pushing the power button. And you'll see that the Vizio label on the bottom turns white and this display comes up. Again, it'll take a moment. And then you get to the Roku interface, and then using the Roku controller, just as you normally do with the Roku interface, you go over and select YouTube TV. Then select a channel that you want to watch.
Otherwise, our immigration laws make
and then
no
you're tuned
sense
to that
whatsoever.
channel.
If we can't even deport people at the court,
Now, if for some reason you don't have sound, then you want to use the Sony controller and simply push the 3 button across the top that's labeled satellite cable TV. And then once again, when you want to turn things off, always go to the home button to stop streaming, and then the power button on the Vizio remote. Again, for some reason the power button on the Roku won't turn the TV off with this TV, so you'll have to turn it off using the Vizio controller.